What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to this week's episode of the Sports Scramble podcast presented to you by Old City Sports Network. I'm your host, Chet. I'm joined by all three tonight. Guys, wacky, crazy weekend of sports. How are y'all doing?
I'm doing pretty damn good.
Well,
Yeah, I feel
yeah,
pretty good, man. We
we
beat
expected
Alabama.
that. Jacob, I know you're Penn
Uh,
State Lions won, but you're an honorary LSU fan.
Enjoy
Yeah,
the
it was
win with us, Jacob. Come on now.
it was a good one. I wish I could have been there. But no, my girlfriend and her dad decided to go and they had a good time at the game.
The entire stadium was on the field. It wasn't just the student section this time. It was the whole stadium.
Yeah, there was
So-
like no room to move around. I mean, at the Ole Miss game, we were, taking pictures, running 10 yards left and right. I mean, it was like a mosh pit.
I was just an appetizer of what was to come.
Yeah.
Yeah, LSU's got to pay up like good $500,000 or something now since it's our third time rushing the field.
Something tells me they're okay with that.
Yeah. Well, we're going to get into the LSU game. Don't worry, folks. But I got to get into the NASCAR Neil segment before we started off. Well, before NASCAR Neil, a little shout out to Houston. You know, it was a great sports weekend for myself, being Houston fan, LSU fan, World Series. Beating Alabama was basically like winning the World Series for LSU football. So, Wade, before we jump into NASCAR Neil, tell us how much you sold your tickets for.
$5.
Yeah,
You
it was
can't
a
have
lot
people
more than
coming after me, man.
it was a lot more than $5, folks. He, you're a loving fiance. You went to a wedding instead of the game, so
Yeah.
But you made out like a
I got to do
Right there this weekend.
the Cupid shuffle, man.
Oh, well, no need to go to the game. I mean, you've already
Leading
been on the
that.
field, so you can't miss the Cupid Shuffle. I mean, like Tyler said, scheduling a wedding during this
That's a
game
sin.
should be
Absolute
illegal.
sin.
It's a good
They
way to
should-
get a discount at your venue and
They
have no
shouldn't allow
competition.
you to be married in the church if you schedule it on the first Saturday in November. That's all I gotta say. If it's like a Catholic wedding or even non-Catholic, if it's just wherever it's at, they should say no. We're sorry, we're booked out. We're having an LSU Alabama watch party. So at least you got to see the Georgia Tennessee game.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, you can have the wedding. I mean, just put a projector behind them the
There
entire
were
time.
a lot of people watching the very final 2 minutes.
Yeah, I mean,
So
think
yeah.
about it. You want people engaged at your wedding, having a good time. You don't want everybody looking at their phones watching the end of a football game. So why even schedule it during that time?
I mean,
Yeah,
as
they did.
long as if they asked if anybody objects, as long as somebody doesn't score a touchdown and somebody yell yes,
like
yeah.
Yeah.
like-
No, it was when LSU got the touchdown to, I guess, take the lead before Alabama kicked the field goal to send it to overtime. It was like right as they were announcing the cake cutting. And so like everybody got pretty pumped up and it was good.
Yes, cake.
Yeah.
Let's go.
So no, it was good. I mean, a little bittersweet. Definitely wish I could have been there on the field and stuff, but
You stormed
you know,
it 2
it's
weeks
been a
ago. It's okay.
good season and got to go on the field against Ole Miss and got to see the Tennessee Volunteers. You know, I thought until yesterday they might be the national champs. So I thought I got to witness greatness, which I did, but looks like there's a new leader in the clubhouse, the LSU
Mhm.
Tigers.
Yep.
Or Georgia.
Hey, if there
at
was-
least in
if
the
there was-
SEC West.
If there ever was a time to eat the grass, it was last night.
Yeah.
I
Tell
ate it the
McKay
first
to take
time.
another chunk of it.
I ate it as a kid. I don't remember how old I was, but I was close enough to the field. I leaned over the fence, and took a piece. It was when Les Miles was still the coach there, and I
Chet
ate a
wanted to
piece.
feel one with Tiger Stadium.
But when we stormed it against Georgia in 2018, yeah, I think everybody was grabbing grass and and eating it there. But no, I mean, it was a great weekend for college football just in general. I had buddy Matt Jones was out there working, and he's like, dude, I can't watch any of the games. I have no cell phone service out here. I'm working. I said, dude, you should have just quit. Like, you don't need that job.
See, now he
You
was
got college
working
football.
and didn't get to watch. At least
Exactly.
I
He
got
did
to
make
watch.
it. He did make it home for the LSU game, but he missed the Georgia Tennessee one, which that was just an onslaught from the beginning. So, if anybody's got Stetson Bennett's phone number, let us know so we can call him, get him on the show for an interview.
I'm sure he got a new phone.
Yeah, I would hope so. That I sent that tweet out. It got a lot of love from the Georgia fans. So Maybe we'll get some Georgia fans following us until we beat them at the SEC
Oh
championship.
my gosh! Don't make enemies with them now.
So, okay. Before we get into college football and the Astros, we got to get into some NASCAR. We had NASCAR Neil on last week. They had the championship race today. By the way, NASCAR Neil was a great fifth chair. He is always welcome back. We'll definitely have him on. I think we're going to have him on next week to recap the championship race since there's not a whole ton of big games going on next week. And he was away for work today. We wanted to have him on tonight. So NASCAR Neil sends me first. We want to pay our respects to Coy Gibbs, the COO and vice chair of Joe Gibbs Racing. He died last night, pretty tragically and unexpectedly. He watched his son win the Xfinity Championship and sadly passed away that evening. So prayers to his family that they're going through this grief. So he wanted me to mention that, and then also he said he was texting me throughout the day as the race was going. I didn't realize how fast 119 laps happened. I was like, hey, I'm busy. I'm like away from the house. I'm going to try to catch the end. I said, okay, I'll text you when stage 3 starts. He said, stage 3 starts, major wreck, 119 laps to go. That was at 4:30. At 5:15, he texted me the winner. I was like, holy cow. Those are quick laps. His prediction, Joey Logano took it home, claims his second Cup title after dominating the entire race. He won again in 2018, wins again in 2022. He joins Ty Gibbs, who won the Xfinity Series, and Zane Smith, who won the Truck Series. And he will come on next week to recap all of that. So shout out Joey Logano. NASCAR Neil was right. I think he won some money, actually. Put a couple dollars down on that. So if he would have bet our upset picks for the week and that little parlay, he probably would have won a lot of cash.
Cooking, man.
Yeah.
Big Dennis.
Yeah. So, I mean, our parlay didn't hit.
Sports Scramble special, though. That's another thing.
Yeah. Well, you got to take your chances. You bet the Sports Scramble special parlay or you bet the 4 upset picks outright.
My parlay lost because Jaden Daniels only got 184 yards passing instead of 195. But you know what? I'll take the L for the team. I mean,
you were hoping in overtime he wouldn't have ran it and he'd have thrown it.
The 35-yard run pretty much ended it for me. But you know what? I'll take that $5 loss.
That's okay. That's okay. But yeah, that's the end of the NASCAR season. I don't know when it starts back up again. I don't think NASCAR is a year-round thing. So we'll have Neil on next week to gives recap and then also a little bit of college football talk with him. So before we jump into the college football, that's going to take up the bulk of the show. We got to talk about my Astros. I know your Braves didn't make it, Wade and Tyler, and Futch, whoever you cheer for. I think you're a Braves fan. You kind of go all around the country.
He's
St.
a Red
Louis
Sox
Cardinals,
fan.
Red Sox,
He's
everything.
A Sox guy. Come on.
Last night, Game 6 in Houston, Astros take down the Phillies 4-1 off a big home run from Yordan Alvarez to put them up. I think that put them up 3-1, and then an RBI by.
It was Vasquez. Yeah, Christian Vasquez got a RBI single.
Yeah, so they ended up taking home the championship first for Dusty in 20 years, I think the announcer said last night.
Yeah, it's been a long time coming for him.
Yeah, so I guess he wasn't the manager back in 2017, huh?
Well, the manager got fired as a part of
EJ Hinch was the manager.
As a part of the
He's
whole
now on the
team.
Tiger. He's now the Tigers manager.
They punished him by sending him to Detroit.
Oh.
That sounds like a punishment.
Yeah.
Well, maybe they hooked him up with a Ford or something when they sent him out there, since the Astros are sponsored by Ford. So, and they make him up in Detroit.
Actually, it's the reverse effect. They actually have the Chevrolet symbol in the outfield in Detroit.
That doesn't make any sense. So
GM, man.
Yeah, I mean, I know GM's up there, but I think Ford's also up there, aren't they?
They have the Lions.
Yeah,
they put all their money on the Detroit Lions.
Okay, yeah. Well, they knew the Tigers weren't there.
Investment.
Yeah. Well, they're both terrible investments from both car companies. So, well, the Lions got it done today against.
We did.
The
Packers.
That was a terrible game.
That was
it was like 15-9. That's what I thought the LSU game was going to go final as.
Yeah, really. After all those field goals. But no, Astros take down the Phillies in Game 6. Jeremy Pena wins the Willie Mays World Series MVP. He's the second rookie to ever win the MVP of both the ALCS and the World Series. He hit .400 in the series, which was pretty impressive considering you've seen guys hitting like 158. I mean,
that's pretty good. I mean, really no downfall, from Carlos Correa leaving for the Twins, and you get signed this guy coming up to this guy, Jeremy
25
Pena.
years old. He's
going
going
to be a stud. I mean, that infield's one of the best infields in the MLB. So they're going to be, honestly, right now, we could say all they want, all the haters, but the Astros are turning into a dynasty right now.
Yeah, I mean, 6 straight ALCSs. They didn't get it done last year. Your Bravos won it, so congratulations. We'll mention them. It was looking a little hairy there when the Phillies took game 1 and then game 3, but the Astros battled back and got it done. So congratulations to the Astros. I should have put a bet down like Mattress Mac. Mattress Mac won a whopping $75 million.
Jeez.
But do you have
$75 million.
the 50
More
million to
mattresses
put
on
down
the way,
that?
baby.
What?
Do you have the 50 million laying around to put down on?
No, I don't. I think it was 15. Well, at the beginning of the season, it was 15 million, and then he won the 75 because he put down so many different bets. I think the last one he's hooked up with Barstool Sports now, which is kind of shocking, just considering who he is. I'm sure y'all saw that tweet of him yelling at the Phillies fans and flipping them off, giving them the bird right before they left Philly because they were all screaming at
a
him.
lot of people are giving the bird. Even Kate Upton was giving the Philly fans a bird.
Yeah, it was pretty funny to see. But no, they had a bunch of Phillies fans yelling at Mattress Mac, and he was flipping them off, screaming at them. And a reporter asked him, "Do you regret what you said?" He said, "Heck no, I'm just standing up for my boys." I was like, okay, there we go, because he knew he was about to win him some money. But I mean, shoot, $75 million. That's why he runs that sale. If you buy a mattress up to $3,000 and the Astros win, it's free. I should have gone and got me a nice king size bed, maybe one of those fancy like up and down with the massage and all that, and I got it for free. So I know, Jacob, you about to be moving out soon. You need to get your new mattress next year. Let's just go in with over to Mattress Mac and get you some here in Houston.
Yeah, but
Dude,
Mattress Mac gets to spend the night for one night as a part of the privilege. You have to let him sleep over.
Shoot, I'd let him. The man knows so many people. He could probably take our podcast to the moon. I mean, he's
as long as I
rich.
don't have to sleep in that bed
That's
along with him, I'm okay.
Yeah, no Mattress Mac slander here, but
I
yeah,
didn't say you had to.
We'll
Just
put him in
took
the
it
guest bedroom. he gets to sleep on the mattress first, and then and then it's yours. So, but yeah, I went to his store for the first time a few weeks ago. That thing is humongous. Astros gear everywhere. I mean, any like Houston gear. Every single employee had an Astros jersey on. So
I know one thing though. Buffalo Bayou, I bet, was bumping.
That's what I was about to get to. The our sponsor, Buffalo Bayou Brewing Company, down here in Houston. I was going to say they sponsored this segment, but Tyler just so graciously reminded me. Yeah, they had a watch party going. They had the brews and the views, the whole shebang. There was people partying all night. They were partying down the streets of downtown. There was actually one guy climbing the pole like they do in Philadelphia. I guess they didn't lube it up here in Houston because they were climbing poles, having a grand old time. They were having I was seeing cars doing donuts and burnouts. It was crazy. So shout out to the Astros for taking home Game 6, another World Series. Anything left to say on our MLB postseason before we wrap it up till next year?
Not really. I mean,
I gotta say, I think the right team won. I mean,
yeah,
it should have been the Astros or the Dodgers. I mean, to play 162 games and have it come down to, a wild card team or something. I know the Braves did it last year and that felt good, but it does sting to win that many games and come up empty. So I guess the right team won.
Fletch, what do you got? You making a prediction for Boston to win it next year?
Well, I might because it seems like there's a running trend with the Red Sox where if they end up last in the division one year, they will win the World Series the next year. It's just one of those things. Like they couldn't win it in 2017. They were dead last in 2017. They win the World Series in 2018. They suck again in 2019. 2020, they make the playoffs. They're doing really good. This last year was kind of a fluke year with everything because there's nobody in the stands. But yeah, I think there's a lot of work to do with it, but I think they can come back. I just think the Yankees had a good year. I mean, when your best hitter's batting crazy number and hitting over 60 home runs,
show up in the postseason.
Yeah, and they don't show up in the postseason. I mean, I told you guys, I said that the Yankees are not a postseason baseball team. They're going to get beat. It's just that's what's going to happen. If they have to play against good talent, they're going to lose. That was the name of the game, and they got beat by the team who ultimately won the World Series. But no, I think for Houston going forward, I think there are some pieces that need to be added. Sure, they just won the World Series. Have fun with it, enjoy it. Position player wise, I think that they're okay. I think where I run into issues with them is in the bullpen. I think they need more depth in the bullpen. I don't think they have it. It's very spotty game to game. They might have a really good game like we saw yesterday. They had a great game out of the bullpen and really dominated the whole game. The
Shoot, the
game
bullpen
before,
had the no hitter.
they have a combined
yeah.
no hitter, but I mean, watching their games throughout the year, they gave up a lot of runs, especially out of the bullpen. So I think that going back to the drawing board when it comes to the bullpen, if it's developing the guys you already have or going and finding other guys in the farm system, and I will say that the Astros have the best pitching farm system in the MLB, hands down. I think that they are the most depth wise. And I think it's credit to their AAA and AA programs for getting those guys reps. I mean, that's why, here in Biloxi, you've got the Shuckers, and their kind of bread and butter is pitching. And that is credit to the AA and AAA organizations for getting players like Josh Hader through and Corbin Burns. I mean, it really is a credit to those farm teams.
Yeah, you see a lot of boring Shuckers games because the pitchers that come through are pretty good. So, we'll do Fletcher's prediction next year is Boston Red Sox make the World Series. We'll come back to this in a year and see if he was right. But two interesting facts before we leave the Astros here. Alex Bregman 100% broke his finger last night sliding into second base and continued to play. And also Martin Maldonado had a broken hand the entire postseason that he revealed. So shout out to the two of them. They ran out of champagne in the locker room as they were doing ice luges through the World Series ice sculpture. So instead of champagne, all these boys, they brought out the tequila and we're doing tequila luges through the ice sculpture. So that's a little tougher than champagne, a little stronger, bites a little harder. So congratulations to them. They deserved it, and go celebrate. I think Bregman's having a parade tomorrow. We'll see if I dip out of work at 1 o'clock on a Monday to go make it to the Astros parade. I don't know if that's going to happen.
It's a holiday, man.
That's true. It's true. So, but like I said, Buffalo Bayou Brewing Company, the party was lit during the World Series. And of course, I had a few of the beers yesterday when I was watching some college football. So the moment everyone's been waiting for, we'll jump on into our college football talk. Tyler, I'm going to let you kick it off with the frauds of the week or the weekend.
Is this a new segment we've got?
Yes, segment. Tyler and I have been talking.
And then we got the dogs of the week.
Yep,
Well,
frogs
I like
and dogs.
Frauds and dogs. We can call them frogs to make it rhyme.
Frogs?
Yeah, frogs.
TCU are frogs of the week.
Frogs/frauds of the week. Tyler, take it away.
Well, my fraud of the week ties into my upset pick. The Clemson Tigers, this team every week has, been on thin ice. Like Syracuse game, they barely won, and then they barely won a couple of games. Then they get absolutely exposed by a Notre Dame team that is improving week in and week out. I mean, DJ Uiagalelei is not the quarterback to answer for Dabo. I mean, the Clemson offense is flat out terrible. Let me just say that. I mean, so no pizza party, it's looking like for Dabo, so they're my fraud of the week. So congratulations to Notre Dame, though. Thank you for coming through for my upset pick.
Wade, you read us a quote earlier before the show of Dabo Swinney. Can you pull that up and read it again? Do you have it pulled up?
Yeah, let me hit the back arrow a few times on this. There we go.
Wade does a great Dabo impersonation. Take it away.
Oh, look, it's a video. He might just say it for y'all. Okay, the headline reads, Dabo Swinney laments bad day after Notre Dame blows out Clemson. And he says, well, this was an ass-kicking period. That's what it is. Just flat out. Got our tails handed to us. That's unfortunate. It hasn't happened a lot, but it has happened a few times along the way. And we've handed a bunch of them too now. But today we were the bug, and we got the bad end of the deal, and we deserved every second.
Dabo Sweeney, everybody. Thank you for coming on the show, Coach. We'll catch up with you next
Where
week.
do we get Dabo on the show?
Maybe we can get Dabo on the show.
I don't know. After the comment I just said to him, I don't think he's going to want to touch our show.
Yeah, called his team a frog.
Frog. The frog.
On the Dabo moment there, I just want to point out that yesterday was just like such an elation to beat Alabama with Brian Kelly after hearing that like Dabo Sweeney was the front runner for the job for 4 months. And I thought I was going to have to give up fandom and return to being a Gamecock because I just couldn't cheer for him like with all my heart. And so I'm just glad that the right guy got the job. And, it worked out for Notre Dame too. They beat Clemson. We had Brian Kelly. Good day for everybody in that situation.
Yeah, well, I mean, your hatred for Dabo Sweeney carries over to our hatred for Nick Saban. So you asked us about it like a few years ago when we were living together. Why LSU fans hate Nick Saban so much? Same reason you hate Dabo Sweeney. So it should explain all of your questions.
Sure, same reason.
My fraud of the week. We won't get it. The show will be an extra hour if we get into this.
We'd be at 2 hours by the
trauma.
TLDR of why you hate Dabo Sweeney, Wade. Real quick.
Oh, I don't know. I just think he's kind of annoying, and he's been annoying for a long time. But until they got really good,
slide at their athletic facility.
Yeah, like he's just like he pretends to be one of the big dogs of college football, and then they finally got there. But then he said things that were very like on branding an American Conference team or something, which is essentially what the ACC is. So I don't know, like just act like you're supposed to be there. Don't have your players rides into practice and have pizza parties and spend the nights in your locker room.
He's gonna fall one day running down that hill. I already know it's gonna happen. It's gonna be really bad. I hope it doesn't happen, but it's gonna happen because he's running a 40 time down that thing. Like if they're clocking him, and he is full sprint down that hill.
I said it last week.
He didn't come up with the hill, so he's just using it.
Okay. I said it last week. You watch him run down that hill full speed. He's going to trip and eat it one of these weeks, or he's going to run straight into the goalpost, and that'll be the greatest moment in college football.
They're going to be doing like the cheerleaders will be running out the flat, and they'll be like, "Where did Dabo go? There he is."
Like he's going to pull the Antonio Brown, wrap his legs and arms around the goalpost, full speed down the hill.
I love it. My fraud. The other two, y'all don't have to have frauds there, but mine's one that actually came back and win. Ohio State, who are you? Losing to Northwestern and then being tied at halftime. I know the weather conditions were crazy. I mean, 40-mile-an-hour winds. The Northwestern punted the ball like 22 yards at one point. I mean, they would have just been better like having the quarterback pick it up and like drop kick it down the field. But they ended up winning 21-7 to keep their whole streak of scoring 20-plus points alive. But come on. Northwestern 1-7. And really, Northwestern had that game won until they stopped passing the ball.
Another thing, Northwestern hasn't won a college football game in America this year. The only win came in Ireland.
Yep. So my fraud is Ohio State, and I'll get into that when we go for our college football playoff picks. Because I think Michigan's going to floor them here in a few weeks. But, okay, around the SEC, we had Tennessee. Or were you about to say something, Futch, about your favorite Ohio State?
I was going to comment. I was going to comment on the game, and then I was going to give you my fraud, which is also in the Big Ten this week.
Okay, we'll let you take it away.
I already know what's going to be, I think.
So, first thing in the Ohio State and Northwestern game, the best play of the game wasn't even an actual play. It was a dead ball video of them, and I guess there was a timeout on the field or a flag, and the center lets go of the ball. The ball's just sitting on the ground. Let's go of the ball, and the ball just starts rolling down the field.
That's how windy it was.
Took off.
The pregame warm-ups were fun too. Like the kicker,
the kick, he hit a wall. It just stopped.
But
that's what they get for playing right on the lake.
Yeah. I mean, it's basically Chicago, so it doesn't surprise me.
It happened. I mean, it was probably once a drive. One of the defenders' towels would fly off, and they would catch it and try to throw it, and it would just fly past them into the offensive line. It was cracking me up. People would throw trash, and it would just like tumble along the field. So it was a fun game to watch. Kind of a ground and pound, but Ohio State would not run the ball in the first half. CJ Stroud was overthrowing his receivers by like 15 yards because the wind was just taking it. So,
but
go ahead.
I think my upset, or not my upset,
my frog
of the weekend is Michigan. I know they won by a whopping 52-17, but here's the problem. The halftime score was 17-14 Rutgers, which is pretty sad. The fact that, Michigan comes out and scores 28 in the second half and finishes it off. But I feel like it says more about how terrible Michigan starts games. I mean, they're going to get beat if they do that. I know there's not a lot of people left on their schedule, but I believe they still have to play Maryland. That's going to be a fun one.
And Ohio State.
Yeah, and Ohio State, yeah. And, I'm looking outside of that game.
Yeah, okay.
Because ultimately, if they both are undefeated when they get to that game, whoever wins the game is going to be number 2 in the country. But aside from that, I think if they struggle with Maryland to start the game and Maryland gets out to a big lead, it could be they can't come back from it type thing. So, I mean, and it's kind of how Alabama has started their games too as well. Slow starts. Clemson's the same way. They can't start a game well. I mean, they don't play till the third quarter.
Too little, too late for them this week.
Yeah, so it could happen to Michigan too. I just don't know. But they're my team for the fraud of the week just because, 14 points in the first half, and you let Rutgers, who hasn't scored more than, I think, 35 points in a game, put up 17 in the first half on you.
Yeah. Wade, you have a fraud of the week?
I have a fraud of the season. How about this Texas A&M Aggies on a 5-game losing streak?
There we go.
All right.
They were getting blown out by Florida.
Yeah, enough said. They're just fraudulent. They were the top 6 team in the country, and we're over here giving an undefeated Michigan a hard time and an undefeated Ohio State a hard time, and you got a team that's not even going to go to a bowl game.
Yep.
And they're going to have a nasty buyout situation. So,
you think they get rid of Jimbo this season?
If they lose 7 games, yeah, absolutely, and that's what they're going to do.
You can't.
I feel like you could put Miami in that same spot of being fraud of the season too.
Yeah,
we'll save our biggest frauds of the season for the end of the year.
All right,
we'll let them rip.
Hey Wade, you can't go after me and Chet like that. Ohio State played against a 1-7 Northwestern.
Oh no, they were awful.
That was bad. That was really.
They were awful.
That's no Wade won't come after me, so I'm good.
Both of those teams, yes, but they still have a chance to play for a national championship, like a preseason top 5 team should. A&M is going to be having to win out to play in the Meineke Car Care Bowl in Shreveport.
Hey, let's just
no hate on the Meineke Car Care Bowl. We might be covering that thing, Wade.
Let's just speak to the fact that
you want a nice December afternoon in Shreveport.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
The fact that next year in the offseason, when next season rolls around, it's going to be the same thing all over again. Texas A&M will be preseason ranked in the top 10.
Yep.
And
there's no way.
It's gonna keep going.
If they finish recruiting
because they
4-8 or 5-7 or something like that, if they're in the top 10 again, then it's just
let them be in the top 10. They've been in the top 10 for the past 3 years and have finished this way each year. It's because they finished number 1 in recruiting, and that's what it is. Because money talks, so players can play there, and they were out 15 players last week, so that's pretty tough. But still, you win 4 or 5 games in the year after starting number 6. Come on, fraud right there.
Jimbo's going to sleep at night holding his little teddy bear or his little.
Honestly, if I'm Jimbo, I don't care. Fire me and give me $80 million, and he never has to work a day in his life.
Jimbo is curled up in bed with his little Aggie stuffed animal, just laying in bed, rocking back and forth, saying, "It just means more. It just means more. It just means more." That's
he's going to start leading the midnight yell.
He's about to be exiled to the Conference USA because they need new members.
Shout out our guys over at Patriot Sports Radio. It was I think it was them, or it might have been one of y'all. I'm pretty sure it was them that said they would make Jimbo clean the toilets for the next 6 years to pay off the rest of his contract. Like, because they don't. It's like, don't pay him $90 million. Give him a job. Make him be the janitor of the stadium, and until he quits. So that's one way to get your money's worth out of a coach.
It could take him 6 years to clean all those toilets. That stadium.
Yeah, really.
You'd be like, oh, I can only do 4 a year.
Hey, 4 a year for
I'll recruit you some new toilets
for like $22 million
Not gonna
a
clean them, though.
year. Self-cleaning toilets. There you go. $22 million a year to clean some toilets. I'd do it. I'd do it in a heartbeat. Tennessee did not show up Saturday in Athens. I think they sent the team from 3 years ago to go play because, I mean, Georgia was just all over them from the start. They ended up going up 14-3 and just never turned back. Stetson Bennett must have slept pretty well. He probably put his phone on Do Not Disturb because he had Tennessee fans calling him all night, blocked their numbers, turned it off, whatever it was, did not get to him because he came out rolling, throwing the little call me celebration, and they just rocked and rolled. I mean, Tyler, what do you think of this Tennessee team? I mean, obviously it's a hiccup in their plans, but there's really no way they make it to a college football playoff now.
I'd still think it's in the realm of possibility. I still believe that they'll be a top 4 team by the time that Tuesday hits. I just don't feel like the committee. I mean, you're looking at TCU. I mean, they put that team behind a 1-loss Alabama team that's had some close losses in the season. So I just feel like that they're going to be number 4. Obviously, Tennessee has a lot of hype. I think that, Georgia's defense, as much talent as they lost, they lost like N'Kobe Dean. They lost Jordan Davis on the front. And they just only allowed 13 points to the best offense in college football. So Georgia is not going anywhere. They are the top dog in college football. And right now, I don't see anyone beating this team. I could
Tennessee's
win again.
Missouri, South Carolina, and Vanderbilt.
Or undefeated. They're gonna
they're gonna win out. Which we'll see how the rest of the year plays out. But how do you think this hurts Hendon Hooker's Heisman chances? Because he looked awful. I mean, it's the worst game he's played this year.
Yeah, I think he struggled. It's the toughest environment that they've probably played in all year. No discredit to LSU.
They took us out of the game early.
They destroyed LSU. There's no argument there.
You could hear a pin drop by the second.
No, you couldn't, because all you heard was Rocky Top the whole game. So.
True. But no, I think this is a backward pedal in his Heisman plan. I don't know. He might be in one of the seats for the Heisman just based on what he's done so far in the season. Because, it's not about how they finish the season when you look at the Heisman. It's basically looking at that entire season.
Right.
Completely. I mean, Tim Tebow won the Heisman, and, they looked at his entire season, and, he had a great year from start to finish. And that's my problem. I mean, that's why I don't think Bryce Young will be sitting there for the Heisman, just because of what's happened and transpired at Alabama. I think that Hooker is obviously going to be there. I think he's probably going to sit next to Georgia's quarterback. I think Stetson Bennett might be sitting there right next to him, along with Blake Corum from Michigan. I don't know if it's more of Hendon Hooker's fault. I don't think it's his fault that they lost the game. I mean, the
defense was non-existent.
Yeah, your defense was non-existent, wasn't there, didn't give you much help. He didn't really get off the field for a long period of time. So, I mean, he spent a lot of time on the field. I think the time of possession was actually in Tennessee's favor just because of how many points Georgia was scoring. I think Tennessee's running game was a big problem. No run game at all. Pretty sad. Wide receivers were not open at all. I mean, credit Georgia's secondary for that. They are the complete package, I think, on defense in college football. Absolutely, just because they have the one piece that Alabama doesn't have, and that's why they are the better defense, and that is the secondary. Georgia definitely has the best secondary. I mean, I watched countless plays, perfect balls by Hendon Hooker, but just DBs making better plays. So I think it's just a matter of it being in Georgia, a little feed from the home crowd. Guys been watching tape for a couple weeks. I mean, guys have been looking ahead at this game, knowing what's going to happen. And Tennessee's number 1 ranking might have gotten to their head.
Yep.
I think
that was they used that. I think. I mean, I used that as disrespect. They thought that they were the number 1 team. They saw that their rivals Tennessee was number 1. They're like, we're going to show them on Saturday that we're number 1. We're still the national champs.
Yeah. Off the Heisman, when you said C.J. Stroud and all that, here's your top 4: C.J. Stroud -125, Hendon Hooker +250, Blake Corum +700, and Caleb Williams +800. Stetson Bennett is +1,000. So, little fun fact.
Caleb Williams?
Yeah, no way.
He looked atrocious. He looked awful in their game.
C.J. Stroud looked terrible too. I'm surprised he's at minus money right there. So.
Ohio State quarterbacks get to New York and they get to go to the Heisman ceremony. They get drafted in the first round, and then you never hear about them again. So, you know.
I'm shocked our boy Jane Daniels isn't on this right now. At least not on Barstools. He's probably on DraftKings. But yeah, I mean, you're looking at like Bo Nix +1,200. That's pretty good. I mean, he's really like lit a fire under him.
Drake May is not getting any love. That he needs more love than he.
Yeah, +2,500 right there.
Yeah,
Max Duggins. I mean, Duggins deserves some love. I think there's plenty of guys that are really good. And my problem is as far as the Heisman goes, I think there needs to be some decisions made. I know it's been the same for such a long time, and you view it as the best players. You know,
it's a quarterback. That's
my problem.
You got to be on a good team.
Yep.
Yeah, that's my problem with it. If you're going to put a guy in a seat there, only one player from that position should be warming that chair, I think, in college football, because then you're saying that there could be multiple guys sitting there and saying they're the best quarterback or player in the country, and there's 2 of them or 3 of them sitting there. So why? Why don't we put at least one quarterback up there? I'm not saying that this has to be like this, but if you got a quarterback, have one quarterback there. If you think you got the best running back in the country and he can be in that talking, put him in a chair. That's my issue with it, is that if you're really going to view yourself as the best quarterback in the country, don't have 4 guys sitting there that are all quarterbacks from different teams that in the country.
Yeah, I like that. Have like a quarterback, running back, wide receiver, and defensive player.
Sure.
And I feel like
it doesn't have to be like that. I mean, if it's a safety instead of a wide receiver, if it's a linebacker, I mean, it really doesn't matter.
Yeah. No, I like that. Wade, what do you think the chances are of your Gamecocks knocking off Tennessee here in 2 weeks?
Pretty slim. I mean, Tennessee
better chance that the Gamecocks beat Tennessee, or that Bo Nix wins the Heisman?
I mean, there's definitely a better chance that South Carolina beats Tennessee. But
continue what you were saying. I just wanted to throw that in there.
No, I think Tennessee still has a lot to play for, and they can thank the Notre Dame Fighting Irish big time, because just when their season kind of looked down and out, Notre Dame eliminates a huge problem. Now there will be another 1-loss conference champ, whether it's UNC or Clemson. And then you got the Pac-12, who everybody knows the committee dislikes. I mean, let's just be real. And they were very low on TCU, who really had one of the better resumes. So there's a good chance that, if Georgia smears LSU and just looks like the outright number 1 team in the country at the beginning of December, that they say, you know what, Tennessee deserves another chance and slides in as a 3 seed. And equally, if LSU beats Georgia, there's a chance that they say, well, we can't put LSU in here and not put the team that beat LSU by 30. So Tennessee's not out of it, and they know that. They're going to rebound, and I think they'll win out and be sitting there with a chance.
But wait, are you suggesting that there will be 3 teams from the SEC in the top 4?
No. Me personally, I think it's going to be LSU, Georgia, Tennessee, or just Georgia.
Yeah, you won't see all 3, but I think there's a good chance that, like, Tennessee already has the bargaining edge over LSU. LSU's only path to make it is to win out. We all know that. But for Tennessee, if they win out and their only thing is a loss to Georgia on the road in the rain, you can't say to me that they're a worse team than Oregon or a worse Clemson. Just because they're conference champions, Tennessee would go conference. Tennessee go play Oregon for the Pac-12. Let Tennessee go play Clemson for the ACC. They're gonna win, I think.
Well, this will all be fixed next year, hopefully, when they expand to the 12-team playoff. You put up 2. Aren't they working to have it next year?
I don't think that they're
Let's be real.
they're
going to take their sweet old time to get this expansion in. So
I mean,
waiting for Oklahoma to move over.
Yeah, they've talked and talked and talked, and they're having meetings about moving up the date for the expansion to a sooner date. The soonest possible that they're ever going to have is 2024. That's when all of your new teams will be integrated into the new conferences.
That makes the most sense, honestly.
I mean that's the only time that we would see any change. It's too early for it to be next year. As much as I would love to see it next year, because I'm sick and tired of this whole 4-team crap, because it's a joke. But it's going to be at least 2024 before we ever see something happen.
Okay, yep. So we've had a lot of talk about LSU. Let's just get into it. Let's recap the game. Tyler, I'm going to let you take it away. But first, we got to get a little love to some comments. We got to Go Tigers right there from my mom. Hi, Mom. Just like on national television. Hi, Mom. And then we got a Go Tigers from Tim Hale. Go Tigers. That's right. And we got another comment from Diggs BTW7. What's up? Right back at you.
Can't forget about our Twitch followers.
Exactly. Shout out Twitch. Tyler, start us off. What'd you see from the first half from LSU that made you think we were going to take?
Yeah, like Wade, I've had some regrets not going to that game. That would have been a whale of a game to go to. I know that the tickets were in the triple digits, but honestly, that would have been worth it. Yeah, that was a crazy game. I watched it with my family. We FaceTimed my sister after they won the game.
Shirtless Tyler running through his house FaceTimed me after the game.
Yeah. It felt
I'm
really good.
You didn't end up in that pond behind your house jumping and screaming.
No, it's too.
It's only like 4 feet deep. He would have been good.
Yeah, the water's been low since
just a little drainage pond.
But going back to that game, yeah, I feel like it was.
Was that a short joke, Wade?
Huh?
Was that a short joke?
No, Tyler's almost 6 foot now. Every time I see him, he shoots up 2 inches.
But yeah, just going back to that game, I mean, the first half really reminded me of the old Alabama LSU games and just a defensive onslaught. I mean, even LSU, started off slow like they've always did, but for the first time ever, they got a lead in the first half. They went up 7-0 off of a phenomenal screenplay to John Emery. He did his signature like high stepping into the end zone that ended up.
His Achilles is healed up. I tell you what, that was a nasty cut.
It's working as well, but the LSU defense, I feel like in the first half really played. Got to give credit to Matt House, Harold Perkins, B.J. Ojolari in the middle really locked it down, and even the cornerbacks. I mean, the first drive that Alabama had, it was like LSU fans were wondering like, oh gosh, we're going to get blown out the building. Bryce Young is driving down the field, and then he gets intercepted by Jarek Bernard-Converse, who I think he's been really good. Had a really good career at Oklahoma State before transferring in. But going to the second half, I mean, it was just the offense.
Well, real quick on the first half, we got to talk about the fumble that was overturned right before halftime.
But yeah, I just didn't understand that.
In what world is that a rule when the defender has
I don't know. I guess old Bill thought it was a rule.
Yeah, I was screaming at my TV. Listen here, Bill. Nobody knows who you are. You need to shut up, okay? But no.
I mean, I saw the Alabama player touched it, but he never had possession of the ball. LSU's player, Greg Brooks, had the possession for the whole entire time.
He had 2 hands on the ball.
And credit LSU's defense. I know that was a bad call, but they were able to hold them to a field goal, and it was 7-6 going into the half. Well, what a wacky half that was. And then going to the second half, Alabama drives down the field. They kick a field goal, and they go up. And then Jane Daniels responds. They drive down the field. Josh Williams, who – I mean, he's a walk-on, if you remember that. I mean, that dude is just a beast. Like, it doesn't matter how many guys are around him. He's not going to go down. So I'm just going to skip all the way into the fourth quarter, going into, Mason Taylor, who Chet was ragging on for like the first 2 weeks of the season. I was thinking like, hey, this man reminds me of like the next great tight end that LSU is going to have. I know that Jack Besh had a really good freshman year, but Mason Taylor, Jane Daniels found him in the end zone. LSU went up by 3. And you just knew that Bryce Young was going to go down the field and this game was going to overtime. I pretty much knew that was going to happen. Then we go into overtime, and then Bryce Young, in the offense scores the touchdown. LSU, Jaden Daniels only took one play for him. And then Brian Kelly brings out the big kahunas and goes for
the
it all.
Cajun Boudin balls.
Yeah,
right there.
goes for it all. A great call there. I mean, if you're going to beat a team like that, I feel like the defense was on their heels. The offense was rolling. Won it there. What a great play call, Mason Taylor. Little play call that they had for them. And Tiger Stadium goes wild. What a wild environment that was. I mean, Chris Fowler, Kirk Herbstreit, those two guys are phenomenal on the call. So got to give credit to them and got to give credit to LSU. What a win that was.
Yeah, I'm glad it was Kirk and not stupid CBS 2:30 game. Had a 6 o'clock night game in Death Valley. The students got an extra hour of partying since we turned the clocks back. We never get that on that weekend.
I didn't go to bed till close to 2 whenever the time.
Just got a whole other hour.
Oh wait, it's now 1. I get an extra hour.
I want to talk about the overtime, with the tipped ball that Wingo still swears he tipped with his finger.
Don't cut your fingernails, man.
No, you can see. I mean, yes, the ball does not change trajectory.
Let's just be happy in the grand scheme of things. That play honestly didn't matter.
Yeah, well, I mean, they ended up
It would have been 4th down. They would have had to kick.
Yeah, they would have kicked the field goal. Then Daniels' run would have been it. But I mean, I'm not even gonna say that play call screwed us over. We got the win.
If we lost, it'd be a completely different conversation.
Yeah. If we would have lost, it would have been. But Brian Kelly, you got to give it to him. I mean, in his first year, LSU's controlling their destiny in the SEC West. A lot of people were being like, "Oh, he's not a good culture fit." Oh, and his accent like my family. All those people can shut up. He is definitely a great fit for LSU. So I don't want to hear it anymore from those people.
I mean,
especially Stephen A. and all of those people.
He was emotional. He was crying on the field. I mean, this is a first-year coach.
Yeah. I mean, going from a program that was 11-12 in the last 2 years, a lot of people decided to transfer out, and I don't know if Jacob is just you're tired of us talking about LSU or not.
Jacob, we got Penn State queued up next. Don't worry, okay?
Well, there ain't much to talk about there.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I mean, all around, I knew it when we were up 7-6 at halftime. I was like, Nick Saban's gonna have these boys ready to rock and roll coming out of half. They ain't just gonna bend over and die. They're coming out to play.
Yep.
And it was one of the all-time best LSU Alabama games
it's got to be top 5 entire stadium history.
Yeah, I definitely agree. The sold-out game, 102,000 and some change, and 102,000 on that field. Well, I guess maybe 98 minus Alabama fans. So that place was rocking. It was loud as could be. Brian Kelly, you couldn't even hear him in the pregame interviews. And I think he really realized how loud it was. Even Jay Daniels said something about the crowd.
I think they said, I think I saw something. It got up to 130 decibels on the last play.
That's awesome.
I believe it. The Georgia was at 122.
Yeah, it was really loud. Sanford Stadium. I mean, that's a very underrated SEC stadium. Got to give credit to those fans.
But LSU gets it done. So we talked some about the playoff scenario. Like you said, Tyler, we write our destiny. So I personally think if we win out and we win the SEC, now Georgia's no small task. We saw that yesterday.
Yeah, right now I'm not picking us to win against them. Yeah. They're really good.
I will pick them to the day I die. I will pick LSU left and right. It does not matter who we're playing.
Let's hear your crazy top 4 then, if that's the case.
Okay. See what happens. We'll get my top 4 a little early, and then we'll get y'all's later on. But my top 4 is Michigan,
number
TCU.
1.
Yeah, Michigan number 1, TCU number 2, LSU number 3, Georgia number 4. And I think that's the scenario that happens if LSU wins it and if TCU wins it.
That'll be some good matchups. I mean,
so Tennessee gets snubbed altogether?
Yes. I think if LSU beats Georgia, they don't let Tennessee in.
I feel like whoever the SEC champion is, you can't leave them out.
Well, and to be honest with you, I'm going to have to change my top 4 because it contradicts my upset pick this week. So I may have a new one when we get to y'all's top 4.
This is just his pre-top 4.
Yeah,
later on, he's going to have someone else. Tulane in there.
Yeah, Tulane deserves a shot. Let's be real. But I mean, we talk about who got that dog in them. My pick for this week's "Who Got That Dog in Them" segment is the whole damn LSU team. Talking Jaden Daniels, Harold Perkins, Josh Williams, John Emery, BJ Ojolari, the Bernard Converse, the other guy that I don't know his name, who's a transfer, Brian Kelly and his southern accent, him doing the.
You got a whole pack of dogs here. I see.
Yeah, we got a whole litter, and we're selling them on the side of the road.
Running out of room, Chet.
Yeah, I mean,
there's
just
only
the whole
so much
LSU
dollars you can have per week.
the whole LSU just team as a whole, they really responded when all week on the radio shows, all I heard, well, we're gonna have Georgia and Tennessee playing, and whoever wins that's gonna be playing Alabama in the SEC championship. And I was like, Alabama's not on a bye this week. I mean, yeah, they're coming into Tiger Stadium as 13.5-point favorites. So Vegas was wrong on that. Vegas was wrong on Ohio State. Vegas was wrong on Clemson.
Should have took money line.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was like plus 270 money line. You rarely get a plus odds money line with two teams playing. So
it was plus 420.
Holy cow! Plus 420 money line for LSU to win.
Shoot.
Jeez.
It
was 470 when I woke up. It was 420 before kickoff.
Don't even sprinkle that. Just put the whole house. I mean,
it scared me away, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, that's some great odds.
So maybe that was the tactic.
Yeah, that's probably what it was. But I mean, LSU showed up and showed that this team that we saw in New Orleans against Florida State, that loss on a missed extra point, is a completely different team.
That's
I mean, that feels like last year.
To not have that happen again.
They
learned their lesson.
Yep. They figured out how to. The special teams looked phenomenal. They should have had a punt down at the 1 yard line that Josh Brooks ended up missing when he dove into the end zone. But special teams has really turned around. Every time they kick a punt, I get a little tensed up there.
The crowd cheers.
Yeah. I mean, it's a little. I mean, Jack Besh had his chance.
That's how bad our special teams has been all year.
Yeah, really. But I mean, I guess if I had to pick one of the guys that's got that dog in him, Harold Perkins. Dude's a true freshman. He only got one sack, but just every time the only times Alabama scored, he was not on the field. The two times I don't know about the overtime, but the two times in regulation that they scored, he was not on the field. Just the pressure. We didn't have a ton of sacks on Bryce Young. Just the pressure, pushing a defender or an offensive lineman in his face. Yeah, just setting them off. He was making bad throws. It was really just all around good game for LSU. Yeah, probably got a trap game going to Arkansas with a high of 44 to a low of 18 at kickoff in Fayetteville at 11 a.m. So that's going to suck. Yeah, 11 a.m. kickoff, 18 degrees. It'll probably warm up. I think it's 18 to start the day. It's a low of 18, high of 44.
Probably be like in the 30s by kickoff.
Little foggy, misty rain. It's like this every year. I mean, they should just ban us playing in Arkansas.
That's the John Daly special right there.
Right. That's what I'm worried
classic,
about.
Man.
But battle for the boot, it's always a big rivalry. I think we got to get the run game going in that one because I don't think the conditions are going to be very nice.
The guys are going to want revenge for last year's game. And then we also have two Arkansas players with Fouché and Brooks, so they're going to want to beat their former team as well.
As long as the NASCAR Neil curse does not carry over, because he will be at that game.
Oh, no.
And if we're losing at halftime, he's got to go. He's got to leave.
Leave.
Well,
yeah, I'll buy Neil's ticket from him right now. He cannot go to that game.
Did NASCAR Neil go to the TCU game? Does anybody know?
Let me send him a text, find out. I don't think he did.
Because if he did, then he beat the curse.
Yes.
Let's see. But Wade, what was your take on the game this weekend? I know you were at a wedding, didn't get to watch it, but obviously you followed it.
I did catch the part that counted, I guess. I saw LSU take the lead. I saw Alabama tie it up, and then I saw both teams score in overtime. And as soon as we scored, with it being like a one-play touchdown like that, I was telling Elise, like, yo, they got to go for two. Like, use the momentum. Alabama's shaken up. They're tired. Like, literally run the same play.
They had 12 guys on the field.
Yeah, and he's had like 12 rushing touchdowns on the year. So, like, do it again. And then they called the timeout. I think we called the timeout.
Yeah.
No, I thought we did too because Brian Kelly was running down there. They ended up charging it to Alabama. I think Nick Saban got it off. So
they were still confused coming out of that timeout.
Yeah, at that point, I didn't know if
They had 12 guys on the field after the timeout. You're right. So
yeah, because they were looking at personnel because we brought in an extra tight end.
Well, had LSU snapped the ball, I mean, I don't remember what the. Yeah, I don't remember. I think it's half the distance.
I don't think they snapped the ball because the formation. Mason Taylor had to cross back and he
was in motion.
Well, no, I'm saying before that.
12 guys, the play plays out, and then if you don't get a success,
that's what I'm saying. Yeah. I mean, it's basically a free play.
It was a free play at that point, but they ended up getting off the field.
Yeah,
they did it twice in a row.
I was like, kick it, man, kick it. But I like it because I mean, look, until you win, there's always gonna be a what if, and there's always gonna be we could have done this, we should have done that. I mean, if they blocked the PAT, we would have been like, dang, what if we made the PAT and Jaden Daniels fumbled it the next drive, it would have been a what if. So it's like when you're in that situation and you have a chance to win the game, if you can't move it 2 yards, then you're probably not going to outlast Alabama on a whole nother possession. So I like it, and it paid off, and now we don't have to second guess it. But,
you didn't want to get into the 2-point conversion off, so I definitely get it.
And that's right, because it would have started in the third overtime?
It would have started after the second because of Penn State going to 9 overtimes last year. They changed the rule.
Yeah. So if you get yourself in that situation, then most teams have 1 or 2 2-point conversion plays that they've been keeping in their pocket.
And that's what we had. That was the play. We didn't run it the entire game, and Brian Kelly said it was specific for 2-point conversion.
So I like it.
He also said that you ran that same exact play in Notre Dame.
Yep,
and
he ran
got called for an offensive pass interference.
It scares the heck out of me because they're not.
He got called for a pick play.
He got called for a pick play, but the receivers ran their route this time.
Yeah, I saw Jenkins ran to the second defender, which was good because he had to get up 5 yards down the field. And at first I was like, why didn't he go after the first guy? But that probably was a pick if he did.
Yeah. I was a little worried, going for 2, but you had the defense on their heels. I mean, your quarterback just runs 35 yards, scores, boom, let it ride. I mean, Jaden Daniels said he wanted to go for 2. He didn't want to kick it. Let him win it. And I really thought that was more like an RPO maybe. If he saw an open hole, he was just going to take it to the house. But he sees Mason Taylor open and has the leverage on a battle over there in the corner. So I was, everybody freaks out as soon as he goes towards the pylon. I was like, did he get over? Did he make it? And then I see the ref throw his hands up and just went nuts.
Yeah, I know he was in once he touched the purple. So
yeah,
I mean, he was. I mean,
if you look at it
from a profile, like it
kind of reminded me
to have to lay a hit on the dude to get in there.
Yeah, it kind of reminded me. Short. That play back in the Super Bowl against the Saints, Lance Moore. It was pretty much the same play. He had to stick out the football for it to do that. So yeah. If we would have lost, we'd be like, yeah, this is a terrible decision. But since we won, you're like, oh, yeah, that's a great play, bossy play.
Well, that's why you recruit 6'7" tight ends. That way, 230 pounds, so they can lay a hit on the safety right there in overtime to win the game. But I know, Futch, you watched it. You were texting us afterwards. I don't want to ask you to take on the whole game, but being your girlfriend was there, do you regret not being
put her on?
Yeah, call her up, put her on the mic. Let's see what she has to say.
Hey, Lauren, do you regret not me being at the game?
Oh, she's in the room.
Yeah, she's here.
Put her on. Tell her.
Do you regret me not being at the game?
Tell her about her experience.
Yeah, she said she regrets not me being at the game.
Okay,
no, that's just because
a loving girlfriend right there.
She doesn't want to sound bad on national television here.
No, that would have been we would have had Sports Scramble live stream on Twitter. Jacob rushing the field, going crazy on his phone.
Yeah.
I don't know if y'all saw they had a security guard posted up.
Yeah, LSU was like, have fun, but don't take down the post.
Man, it's hard to take down. You got 2 supports on that one. That's not an easy goalpost that's coming down.
Yeah, they were not taking that thing down. That's for sure.
Could have taken down the upright, but definitely not the whole thing.
Yeah, so but the Tigers came out on top. We're all happy down here. I know Baton Rouge is buzzing. It was a fun time, but we can't shy away from Arkansas next week just because wacky things happen in that game. So
it's buzzing here. I talked to 5 random strangers today just getting groceries and going to Walmart, pumping my gas. It's just the whole talk of the town.
What do you mean, Wade? What do you mean? Wait, I'm 2.5 hours away, and I was talking to 5 people this morning
There you go.
at work.
It's contagious.
I'm in Houston, and I went to the driving range, and somebody had an LSU shirt on, okay? And the Astros won the World Series last night.
See?
So
College football trumps all.
exactly. So, and I mean, Tyler is probably running through his streets naked last night after he hung up the phone with me because he was so happy.
No, I can say he did put a shirt on because he did. FaceTiming me after.
Yep, I did.
I'm feeling a little left out here, Tyler. Just because I was at a wedding doesn't mean I couldn't answer my phone.
Oh, that's why I didn't. I didn't.
I know.
I knew that you were at a wedding. So
He had respect.
I caught the end of the game at a Mandeville Chick-fil-A parking lot, and the Chick-fil-A had just closed, and the cooks came out, and they were like, I thought they were watching the game, but I don't know if that's what they were doing. But I sure was happy in my car. So.
That's why we won. You were in the Lord's Chicken's parking lot watching the game, and he blessed the LSU team for us to win. So it was all because of you, Wade. We appreciate that. And Chick-fil-A, you hear that? Sponsor us. Wade needs some free chicken.
Shoot, if we get a freaking Chick-fil-A sponsor, I don't think we wouldn't see Jacob ever again. We're just eating chicken every day.
No. I think if anybody's climbing any poles, like you said, talking about Houston, I said, people climbing poles. I said, the only pole I'm climbing is the right field foul pole in Houston because it says Chick-fil-A down it. So
the foul pole with a W.
I think you should get free Chick-fil-A for life if you can make it to the top.
Yeah, especially if you start on the other side of the field, jump over, run across, and climb up.
They should just give free Chick-fil-A after Jordan hit like 450 feet straight.
Yeah, did someone tell Jordan that he only had to hit over the little green fence, not the giant green fence in center field?
Yeah.
Tyler was texting me updates, and I switched to that game during halftime. And then I switched back, and I was like, I can't be switching back and forth because the LSU game was so back and forth.
Well, I just saw an update, and I was like, oh damn, he had, and I was like, 450 feet. I was like, let me see where he hit it. He hit it over the damn wall.
Yeah. So Jordan, it just needs to clear the small one. Not, it doesn't have to go into the bar in center field. He probably knocked some poor guy's drink out of his.
Somebody's
hands.
plucker's got a ball imprint in it.
Yeah, he hit it where we ate against the Mariners. And I started a trend like last year. I told Chet this. Last year, I went to a Braves game in August, and the Braves ended up winning the World Series. Flash now into 2022, we went to a Mariners game in August, and guess who won the World Series? Astros. So whatever MLB team wants to win the World Series, hit me up, give me some tickets, and World Series chance. There you go.
Small sample size, but I like it.
Hey, I mean, I'm superstitious.
I bet you the Philly fans wish you were at one of their games.
Yeah.
Might have turned out differently. But yeah.
I went to a Nationals game. They didn't quite get there.
Fudge, bring Tyler to a Red Sox game in August.
Stuff like that.
All right.
But no, all fun. LSU wins. Everybody's happy. And as you can see, LSU shirt. We all got our LSU gear on, and you know where you can get LSU gear? You can head on over to Fanatics. Tyler, get that discount code ready. If you head on over to Fanatics, use our link to support your favorite sports team, fanatics.93n6tx.net/scramble. Remember that, ingrained it in your brains. Head on over there, use our link, use promo code.
I think I'm going to opt out on today's code. 24 ship. I don't like that deal.
Oh, well, use it tomorrow. You get free shipping for 24
Wait till
hours.
tomorrow.
Yeah, wait till tomorrow. Maybe they got a 60% off.
They always hit you on game days because you're that's when you're thinking about it. So if you log in on Tuesday,
after the game, after your team just won,
you
can actually go buy. You can go buy an Astros World Series shirt, not just an ALCS shirt. You can go buy a World Series shirt. There was a line down I-10 to go to the Academy to buy shirts last night.
Well, let me give you a little advice, listeners. As a Braves fan who blew $200 this time last year on championship gear, wait 3 months, and then nobody cares about baseball again, and it's January.
All the stuff.
Yes, all that stuff's sent off, and you can get every single shirt that you were looking at that you were fighting over getting the last one in your size. That's what I'd recommend. I did see last year I got 3 things because it was the night before I was going to figure out my FE engineering exam results. And I was I'm going to buy this as a pick-me-up in case I failed, but also as a celebration in case I passed. And it was a good little strategy, but definitely wait and let that stuff drop. I mean, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Well, if you use our link and you just want to spend money, it helps us out. So if you want to buy it at full price, go ahead and buy it now. Don't use Wade's strategy. But you can get a pretty good discount.
24 ship though does help with this because I don't think they tack off any discounts on the World Series merch.
Yeah, so it's only ones that apply. But use our link, get your team's merch, get your Astros merch, your LSU National Championship merch. Do what you got to do. You know where to find it. So we got to talk a little bit of upset picks. The Sports Scramble had a pretty good line at 4-0. But before we get to them, Futch, I'll let you have your minute to Penn State since we are an LSU and Penn State podcast.
I'll keep it short and sweet for you boys. First things first, game wise, 45-14 final. Penn State wins it.
Throttles Indiana.
Yeah, that's what I said. Throttles.
Yeah, so it was a pity touchdown on the end for Indiana to score their second touchdown of the game. Show was basically ran in the backfield by Drew Aller. The Penn State coaching staff decided to pull Sean Clifford after his first pick of the game, basically short leashed him. He did go 15 for 23 for 229 yards, but he did throw a pick and they pulled him after that. No touchdowns for him. The touchdowns came from the backfield. Katron Allen, also my pick for who got that dog in him this week. 3 touchdowns on the ground, 18 carries for 86 yards. Went absolutely nuts. And
you
also had
the
2
whole
receptions
Penn State team? For who got
no,
that dog
no,
in, not the whole team?
No,
okay.
I can't pick the
Not
whole
yet,
team
not
because
yet.
yeah, I mean if they were undefeated, then I might pick the whole team like last week. But no, I mean Katron Allen absolutely, he's one of those like strange backs that he waits for the play to develop in front of him. He's not the fastest back in the world. He just waits for his blockers, and I just think
like
that
Lenny. That's a Leonard Fournette move.
he looks like it. He reminds me of it, like just waiting for blockers, finds an open hole, and can run. I mean, that's what it is. And he's a good guy down in the red zone to cap off long drives. But the best complete performance I've seen in the last 3 or 4 games, kind of bad. I mean, your 2 losses are to 2 teams inside of the top 5 right now, but I mean, that's the price you pay for being in the Big Ten East. You got to go win some big football games. And if you do win those games, then you consider yourself being in the top 5 or close to it. But I think that Penn State was a little too late. I think Sean Clifford should have been benched 3 weeks ago. I think that Drew Aller should be given an opportunity against Ohio State. He's playing at home crowd behind him, a lot of energy. But no, it's the same old story. So I just feel like some changes need to be made. I think this was coming. Indiana's not a very good football team this year. They're 1-5 in the Big Ten this year. So, I mean, they're a non-factor. But moving forward, it really Penn State needs to focus on getting wins against big teams like Michigan and Ohio State.
So they're benching Clifford, the big blue dog. He no longer has that dog in him.
I don't think so. I don't understand. I really don't know. I don't think anybody knows, to be honest with you. I don't even think James Franklin knows if he's going to bench him or not. I think he should. But this season's a going away party for Sean Clifford. That's all it is. That's the sad part. I mean, this isn't Penn State football, and it won't be until next year. And I wish that he didn't have a COVID year because 6 years
it's a long time.
Anytime somebody spends 6 years at a Power 5 big school that should be competing for national championships, should be competing for Big Ten championships, if you're there 6 years, there's a problem.
Yeah, that you didn't do your job.
You're good enough to be the starter, but you're not good enough to actually go anywhere. You know, and that it's kind of an issue showing that they may not have anybody else behind them, which is recruiting, something that needs to be solved in recruiting, maybe get a transfer portal quarterback. But it sounds like this backup y'all got did his job. So.
They tried. They had Justin Fields, the class after him.
Yeah. I mean, the thing about it is Drew Aller.
He committed.
Yeah. I mean, Drew Aller is the complete package that Penn State needs. He's everything that Christian Hackenberg wasn't. I mean, Christian Hackenberg was a college quarterback that went rogue.
Bust.
Yeah, and
fraud.
Trace McSorley was Trace McSorley was a good college quarterback. NFL wise, just hasn't been given that opportunity. He is a small guy. He's kind of got that Bryce Young build to him. It really is. I mean, the fact that this kid's a freshman, just turned 18 years old. He's 6'5", 215 pounds. He slings the ball as fast as I've seen out of any quarterback ever, and it seems crazy to think that a guy or a kid. I mean, a kid just turned 18 years old.
He's a man, Jacob. He's 18.
He
can go to prison.
Yeah, and the thing about it is he chose Penn State over Ohio State, and I'm not sure what that means, but I mean, I believe his girlfriend goes to Ohio State, so that's kind of a interesting thing. He did go to high school in Ohio
anymore.
I did get it. So
his friend at Ohio State.
Yeah.
He's got some girlfriends at Penn State, is what it sounds like.
So my thing, and I made this comment. I was talking earlier today to Lauren, and we were talking about how, it seems like the LSU Alabama rivalry, it goes beyond the football field. I get it. It's a big rivalry. But I have a problem with it at some point when, people can't carry conversations on after a football game with somebody that likes a different team, especially in the SEC. If I go out in public, after a game and, you're wearing an LSU shirt or somebody's wearing an Alabama shirt, I should be able to have a conversation with them and sit down and have a cordial conversation with them after the game and not people be at each other's throats. It was a great game. It was a 1-point game, and everybody wants to have an argument even after the fact. It's football, people, and that's my thing. Sure, Penn State loses to Ohio State. Am I upset about it for the time being? Sure. Do I get over it? I don't hold any grudges against anybody who's an Ohio State fan or a Michigan fan. I move on. It's a new year. It's a new game every week. It just seems like I get the whole mantra where, it's the SEC and it's all about football, but
just means more, Jacob.
I knew it was coming.
Jacob, what it sounds like is you would make a very good Texas A&M fan because you just get over losses very quickly. And you're complacent with going.
No, it's not.
You're
not
okay with
that.
paying your coach so much money, just getting over it.
It's not that.
I hear you, though. I hear you.
Well, that's what a lot of these fans say. Is
they're 19-year-olds on the field, and you're
that's one thing.
40.
That's my whole perspective is you got 24 hours. Even like Brian Kelly said last night, you got 24 hours to celebrate, and it's on to the next. And like Wade just said, these kids are 19, 20. So some of them are 25. Looking at you, Hendon Hooker. And Clifford.
And Sean Clifford.
Yeah. But these are kids out there playing a game, and you can't let it run your life, even though we're diehard fans, but just gotta get over it at the end of the day. Do we hate the other school? I think you hate school. You don't necessarily like, if I see an Alabama fan, I'm not going to walk up and punch him in the face because odds are I didn't even go to the school. So let's be real. Half of their fans are bandwagon fans anyway.
I talked about that today too. But but my thing is, let me break down the Big Ten for you against the ACC. Here's the thing. The Alabama of the Big Ten is Ohio State. The Georgia of the Big Ten is Michigan. The LSU of the Big Ten is Penn State. That's what it is. And it's you've always got those.
No, because LSU actually wins the big games.
Oh, here we go. A non-cordial conversation.
This guy.
Y'all should save that.
Well, you can't compare Michigan to Georgia after Georgia just ran over them in the playoffs.
You're taking it completely out of context.
It's not the team. He's not comparing the team level. He's comparing the role of the team in the SEC.
But programs, though, I don't think LSU and Penn State's on the same level.
No,
that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that the stages that those three teams play in each conference, that's kind of where they sit. I mean,
think about it, Tyler. It's always Georgia, Alabama, and the past 2 years it hasn't been, but the third team looking in is like LSU typically or Florida. So it's always Penn State and Ohio State.
All I want to know is who's banging them with the Big Ten.
Say that
I would
again?
maybe switch Michigan and Alabama. I mean, Michigan and Georgia there. Like, we're the Michigan, I guess.
Yeah,
Possibly.
because they're on the same side. I guess it's different because you got Georgia and Alabama on the same different side of the
For
conference.
me, I would
But-
put like LSU as like a Wisconsin or an Iowa.
No,
So you're
there's
saying the
not a
other-
chance. There's not a chance.
Because
You
like
haven't watched
no.
enough Big Ten football to
As
say
a
that.
region,
There's
Too big
no
of a
way.
brand.
There is no way.
I mean, I think Penn State's better than Wisconsin.
Penn State's
what,
the
let's just
third
say
best
this.
brand in the Big Ten.
No,
LSU's probably
I'm
the
not
third
even gonna
best.
get- I'm not even
brand
going
in
to
the-
get there. We already know the facts.
We'll let y'all fight this one out tomorrow on.
I don't even
College
want to
Football
get
Discuss.
there. He's trying to put me in a like a.
Vanderbilt,
I am not.
Northwestern.
Yes,
That's
you
a
are.
good
Yes,
comparison.
Vanderbilt, Northwestern.
There we go.
All I
we're
want to
getting-
know is who's like Texas A&M of the Big Ten.
You know who's a
Northwestern.
good comparison?
Michigan State
expectations.
is Texas A&M.
Really?
Everybody thinks they're going to be good and they end up sucking. Yeah, there you go. Who's a
That's
good
all it
comparison,
is.
Wade?
I'm gonna go Arkansas and Iowa. They both just kind of look like
They both start top 10 and then they fizzle out to nothing. Yeah. like
there's
it.
just like nothing to do other than cheer on your mediocre 7-5 team that can't score.
Hey, Iowa scored 14 points in 2 minutes in this weekend's game. It took them like 163 minutes to score 14.
That's great. And
points
Arkansas didn't let up a
previously.
single point in the second half and still lost 21-19.
Yeah. So, but I get what you're saying, Jacob. I feel like each conference has those three. Like in the Big 12, you got Texas, Oklahoma, and then it kind of rotates. TCU, Oklahoma State.
I feel
This
like
year's TCU is the
Baylor's
top dog.
probably in the-
Baylor.
Oh, let's
yeah.
go on a little talk there. I just want to point this out that with all this alignment, it made me think about it. TCU, like, you think of them as like this big dog school, and like obviously they're doing pretty well this season. Their enrollment's like 12,000.
It's a small school.
SMU's enrollment's like 11,000, but you think of them as like this tiny school. And then Houston, you think of them as a tiny school right now, joining the Big 12 now. Oh no, they have 42,000 students. So
There's 7 million people that live in Houston.
they're gonna
and
fit.
there's, like,
in
Houston's
just
one of the
fine
top
there.
5 biggest cities in the U.S. I mean, that's
It's number 3, baby.
But they're gonna fit in just fine. I feel like with
yeah. No, well,
And
not
here
after
comes
last night.
UCF, Cincinnati, and BYU.
SMU absolutely throttled Houston. It was like 86-66. I mean,
hey, that's runner-up fraud of the year is BYU.
Yeah,
when was
fallen
BYU
off, for
ever?
sure.
They
have fallen
Taysom,
off.
BYU fell
They were
off
ranked after they
Taysom Hill
beat
left.
Baylor.
Were they?
Yeah, they were like number 7.
Yeah,
Or
that
no,
Baylor
17.
matchup was a top 25 showdown.
Well, this whole rundown went from our upset picks. So I don't know if y'all want to give your upset picks. But I get what you're saying, Jacob. Like I said earlier, each conference has its 3 teams, and we'll have to debate it eventually on who's who.
This is a good topic for like sitting down in a bar atmosphere and doing a live show, because this could
'cause it's
start
something to
like
talk
some
about.
tables and chairs getting thrown. But it
Whoa, now let's not get crazy, okay?
But-
we're
I'm
not
trying to get
getting
black eye
attacked.
while we do a show.
but that's the problem, is everybody just needs to cool out. It's football. And it's no different than anybody being a big basketball fan. I mean, it is football, and I get it. I get it. It's the South, and people like their college football. I mean, it's just different in different places, and I understand that.
Basically, Jacob is telling all you crazy football fans to calm
Peace
the
and
heck
love,
down.
man.
Peace and love, baby. Coexist.
Exactly.
Put that one on your bumper right there. But upset picks. Okay. We went 4-0 last week. We had Texas over Kansas State. We had LSU over Alabama. Notre Dame over Clemson. And the last one I do not remember. Please remind me.
Kansas
Tyler.
over Oklahoma State.
Yes.
Kansas over Oklahoma State. 4-0 sports scramble. We know what we're doing when it comes to upsets. We don't know what we're doing when it comes to picking a parlay.
And
But
staying
that's
to an
okay.
agenda on a show.
It's saying to you, it's okay. We can ramble. No problem. We'll just do another 2-minute drill for the in NFL talk.
It was a boring day in the NFL.
let's be real. Our listeners care about college football and NASCAR, Neil. That's what gets people going. Okay.
Hey, raise hail and praise Deo. And
exactly.
Something that rhymes with college football.
I'll let you think on that one for the rest of the show. But 4-0 this week. Pretty good in upset picks. What do y'all got going forward? Tyler.
Oh, no. I wasn't ready for this.
Okay, Futch, who do you got?
All right, I'll hit you with the big hitter right now.
Yeah,
I've got
get
Ole
someone
Miss
else.
winning at home against Alabama.
Okay, if that happens, does Nick Saban retire?
No, I don't think Nick Saban retires. I think that
He has
Bill
a heart
O'Brien
attack on the
breaks the. I
sidelines.
think Bill O'Brien breaks the glass in the press box with
I
his
think
forehead.
Nick Saban climbs up to the press box and breaks the glass and pulls him out of there.
He might get on all fours and like just full demon run like all the way up to the press
Nick
box.
Saban's headset broke this weekend, actually, because he got tackled by one of his players when he was getting pushed out of bounds. I was a little scared there that he wasn't going to get back up because it was a hard hit. But yeah, if Ole Miss takes down Alabama, there's not enough headsets in that stadium.
Well, and I think the reason it could be a problem is that I think Alabama knows where they're at right now, what stage it is. Their season is not in their hands anymore.
Nope.
It is completely in other teams' hands. And they've never had to deal with that in the last 10 years or so. I mean, even when LSU won the national championship, some of their destiny was still in their hands.
Yeah, they could have snuck in the playoff as a one-loss team to a good LSU team.
But now, I mean, they have to rely on other teams in order to get there, and it seems like a long shot. But I think Ole Miss being at home, that's their only chances is them being at home. If this was,
and it's always a wacky, fun game.
It's always weird. It doesn't matter who it is. I mean, I loved the whole, Matt Corral and Tua battle. Then was a good one. There's just a lot of good games that were played there. So I think Ole Miss honestly does have a chance, especially with a young guy that's got some guts at quarterback with Jackson Dart.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think they got a chance to beat them coming off of a rough loss to LSU. Some players get beat up. Alabama drops number 10 in the AP 25. So we'll see. Wade, who do you got upset picks?
All right. So I've had success with my upset picks, mostly in the Big 12 this year, which has been giving us some good football and some good upsets. So I'm going to take West Virginia to beat Oklahoma.
West Virginia.
Always a tough trip up there, to West Virginia. Makes no sense that they're in that conference, but gives them an advantage like none other. So,
okay, I like it. West Virginia.
Wade wants the Big East to come back.
That would be cool.
I'm surprised you didn't go with the Mac Attack Tuesday night. We would have had to send out our upset pick graphic early. If you
West Virginia should join the MAC and become the UCF of the world and just run house in the MAC every year.
It just claimed
on
championships.
Tuesday nights. It's like the 50th. No, it's like the 49th most populated state. I mean, like they don't really have enough people to be in the Big 12. They should drop down.
Well, maybe you can make that case for him.
So I think. Well, here I got the case for you. West Virginia and Notre Dame go to the ACC.
Well, yeah, the ACC's too stuck up to let that happen.
Yeah, well, Notre Dame won't let that happen. You think they're going to go to a conference? No, they can just beat Clemson when they're not in their conference. Who cares? Tyler, who do you got upset picks?
I was really hoping that UCF was going to be the favorite over Tulane, so I can give Tulane some love on this show. But sadly, Tulane is the 2-point favorite, so that does not be an upset. So I'm going to go to the Pac-12 here. I know this is a hostile environment that this team's going in, but I'm going to go UW over Oregon. I'm going to go the Huskies traveling on the road. Oregon's just been on a climb all the way through, and this is an annual rivalry game. I expect this one to be close. Oregon's a 12.5 point favorite. I know that I said like a couple of weeks ago that I was going to go Mississippi State over Georgia. Well, I don't really see that one happening anymore, so I have to divert. So I'll go with the Huskies over the Ducks to give a little shakeup in the Pac-12.
Shockingly enough, that's a 6:00 game. You don't have to wait till 9 to watch it kick off. So 6:00 on.
I'm surprised it's not like the big noon or something like that.
Yeah, Pac-12 big noon.
Yeah, freaking Indiana and Ohio State. Like, what a game that's going to be.
Yeah, well, that'll be.
That's
a heck of an
another
upset.
thing that I can rant about is the big noon kickoff. That has to be like the worst thing ever.
It's going
I
away.
can rant about the fact that Gus Johnson annoys me to the point where I want to dig my own grave. That's where I'm at.
Oh my god,
That's
It
that's
is.
how we feel watching.
All
LSU
right.
play on
So
CBS.
bad.
Well, guess
It is
what? I got
so
news for
bad.
you. You're getting CBS, which will have the same effect.
It'll
Yep.
be even
Well,
worse
No.
because they will
Nothing's
still
worse.
talk about how
Nothing's
Alabama
worse than
will
Gus
win the
you
Johnson.
say
national
that until Gary
Nothing.
Danielson will be like, Ohio State this, Ohio State that. For
I
like
will
5 hours.
I will come to him with open arms. It is okay because I'm so sick and tired of Gus Johnson that he can't get enough done in the big noon kickoff that he has to go. Just hold on. I've got a small rant. The big
Okay.
noon,
This is
the
about to be a
entire
2-hour show.
big noon is obviously Fox. It's obviously Fox. My issue with it is you get a coach that leaves Ohio State, stops coaching for a while, says, you know what, I'm going to go try my luck back at the NFL. You fail with the Jaguars because you can't stay away from some college girls at a bar in Columbus. So you get fired.
Are you going after Urban Meyer here?
Yes.
Yes,
Okay.
that's fine.
And then you turn around and says, you know what, we feel so bad for this guy, so we're going to hire him on our big noon panel. So he sits on the big noon panel, and we got Gus Johnson sitting up there in the booth rambling on and on about the fact that Ohio State is the world famous Buckeyes. Well, let me tell you what, I don't think anybody in Germany, in England, in Africa,
Wait,
I don't
think
think
TikTok content that you've been waiting for because there's
I don't
no
think
way-
they care.
So
I don't think they care about Ohio State. And it's so bad. I want all these SEC fans to feel the pain of having to sit there and listen.
What do you think? We have to deal with the same thing on CBS whenever Alabama plays.
Dude, okay. I'm not gonna say what I'm gonna say because we're trying to keep this show kid friendly, but freaking what's his name? Brett Nussmeier. I don't even know. It's Gary Johnson, whatever his name is.
Daniels.
Gary Daniels on CBS.
It's Jaden Daniels' dad. Have some respect.
Gary Daniels loves Nick Saban. He's married to Nick Saban. I mean, he's Nick Saban's butler. Like he. It's way worse than what you're saying. Trust me.
Reggie
Well,
Bush,
maybe after this season,
Reggie
they'll just
Bush
ride off in the
and
sunset.
Urban Meyer run the big noon.
It's like
basically
Reggie
run
Bush
the-
as
Bush
well
has some
on that
fire
show.
Wendy's commercials.
He's even given some of them to Gus Johnson. It's so bad.
Hey,
Gus
even,
Johnson's in some of them.
The Fox, not Fox, one of the NFL like kickoff or something has Sean Payton and Michael Vick as two of the
That
members
was
of the
new.
panel.
I didn't see Sean Payton on there until today.
Yeah, today I was like, whoa.
I
hold
think
up,
that they
what's
just
going on
sign
here?
like contracts, like like we get on here and we're like, hey, you want to come talk sports? They're just like, hey, you want to come talk
Sean
sports
Payton,
to the entire
line's always
nation?
open.
Like that's
Come on
risky,
in.
man.
Yeah.
Like,
That's
dang,
my
they don't have
problem
any
with, like,
training.
Well, let's talk
I
about Pat McAfee like cussing every show. I bet you ESPN
That's
hates him,
great.
but the ratings are through the roof. So it's
He brings out the best. He brings out the best in Reese Davis that I've ever seen. It's
I've never
completely
seen this
different.
side of
It's
the
a completely
college
different Reese
game day.
Davis.
Yeah,
I have
no, it
never seen
definitely
him
is.
like this.
It's great. It's great.
Well, he won't get to experience LSU this year because they're not
Sadly.
coming for the UAB game. So.
Dang.
That's the one I wanted him to be at.
Come on, man.
My
That's
upset
another
pick.
thing. They should have went to Tulane. They already been to Texas. They should have went to Tulane
Yeah.
for a top 25 matchup of UCF and Tulane. Give that city
Give
a
New
spot.
Orleans some love.
Yeah.
Come on.
Like,
Tulane
we've already-
Stadium only
Jackson
holds like
State.
10,000
Yeah.
people. So
Have it in the dome.
That's what it should. They should just move it to the Superdome. My upset
LSU
pick.
Tulane, that might be a bowl game, in like Glendale or something. Everybody's
Could
got to
be
travel all the way out there.
No, it could be the Cotton Bowl or something like that.
I'm taking Texas. Taking down TCU with what's his name at quarterback? I was about
Quinn
to say
Ewers?
Sam Ellinger. Quinn Ewers, baby.
Yeah, it's not saying
I
that.
remember.
Walking through the door.
The
no more.
mullet man is going to get it done. They're going to take down TCU. So I have to change my top four, but I'm going Texas, taking them down in Austin. Our upset picks this week, didn't hit the button, are brought to you by Righteous Felon. If you want to get your jerky fixed, they got all sorts of flavors. If LSU wins the SEC, Wade, you have to buy the Carolina Reaper flavor.
Well, your odds are increasing.
I think if it's Carolina, South Carolina has to beat Clemson for that to happen.
No, I just think LSU has to win this. Okay, I'll give you
The
that.
odds are about the same.
It is
If
about
South
the same.
Carolina beats
So we'll just do either or.
we need a live taste test of the Carolina Reaper jerky.
Okay. I might
Okay.
just do it for the hell of it.
And you're going to use code OCSN for 15% off that jerky.
Man,
So,
Wade's gonna eat it, and his face on this is just gonna be replaced with the skull and crossbones.
yeah,
Bring it on my bachelor trip, and I'm sure I'll eat it.
there we go. We're an hour and a half in, folks, and we still have our college football.
we still have our college football picks and our dogs of the week. So
God,
let's
We
hurry
did
up.
dogs. We did dogs.
Yeah, dogs have been filtered in.
Oh yeah, well I still got mine.
All right, Tyler, who's your dog?
Tyler, who's your dog?
All
Dog
right.
of the week.
I'm
Who
gonna
got that
go
dog in
down.
him?
I'm gonna go down to
Ruff, ruff.
Mobile. Give it to South Alabama's running back with Damian Webb. He had 35 carries, 247 yards, and 4 touchdowns. South Alabama was pretty much dead in the water at one point. They were
Very
down
doggy.
31-17, and Webb put this team on their shoulders. So this is a 7-2 team. I mean, last year South Alabama didn't make a bowl game, and now they still need a Troy loss to win that division, but they could run the table depending on if whatever Tulane does. So Damian Webb, dog of the week, got to give it to the group of 5. Give them some love.
Okay, I like it. All right, college football picks. Since I have to change mine because I forgot I picked TCU to be upset this week, we'll go with Jacob. Who's your top 4 at the end of the year? We might want to change this segment to see who it is like Tuesday.
No,
But
end of the year.
let's stick with
No,
end of the
no,
year.
like
Who's
the
making the
predictions.
playoff? Yeah.
Next, forget
Who's
Okay.
making the playoff?
my end of the year playoff picks. Number 1 being Georgia. I think they win the rest of their games this year. No problem. They will be 12-0 and visiting the lovely college football playoff once again. Number 2, I'm gonna put Ohio State / Michigan. Either or, whoever
Pick
wins
one,
that football
Jacob.
game.
Pick one.
All right. God, it hurts me. I'll pick Ohio State
Okay.
at number 2.
Fraud.
They're all frauds in my book.
Dog.
Yeah. They did have a fraud at quarterback, Justin Fields.
Hey, he
number
scored me
3
45 points in fantasy this week.
He was jumping
All
around today.
All right.
He sat
One,
the
I've got
bench on my
Georgia.
team,
All right,
but he
Matthew
went off.
McConaughey, calm down.
2, I've got Ohio State. 3, I've got TCU. And at number 4, I'll put North Carolina.
What?
Yes.
What crack are you smoking in your pipe?
Hey,
North
did you
Carolina.
not
sir.
listen to last week's show?
They
who I
are
had?
8-1,
This is a
sir.
kid-friendly show.
They
Come
are.
That's
on,
not a
man.
kid-friendly reaction right
The
there.
kids are
North
trying to watch this,
Carolina.
and you're over here talking about.
They are 8-1,
What?
sir. And they will beat Clemson, and they will win the ACC championship, and they will be 11-1 and filling the 4th spot because
Over a Pac-12 champion.
Oregon will lose the Pac-12 championship game.
Or they could lose this
I
weekend.
think Tennessee gets it over North Carolina, but
There's not a chance.
You're welcome. You're welcome to your opinion. Wade, throw it on TikTok. Tyler, who do you got?
All right, yeah, a lot of changes on mine, especially with now that Tennessee got wiped away. I do have Georgia. I think that they'll run the table, go undefeated. I don't really see anyone. The really only possible loss I could see them is this weekend, coming off of a tough game against Tennessee, and they had to go on the road to Starkville. But I just don't see it. Number 2, I think that Ohio State. I know that we have them as our frauds of the week, but I just feel like Ohio State's offense, I don't know what the weather is going to be in that game. If it's going to be raining and snowing, I'm going to change it to Michigan because I trust Michigan's running game board. But for now, I have Ohio State. Number 3, I'm going to go with Tennessee. I think they still get it done. I'm going to tell you right now, they're going to be in the top 4 still in the college football playoff rankings. And then number 4, I had TCU, but I actually have the Texas Longhorns beating them this weekend, so TCU is going to be out. So North Carolina is going to still be number 4 as
We got
well
some
for me.
Carolina
Okay.
Tar
I know
Heels
that
here.
they're ranked number 15, but they're going to run the table, win the ACC. Oregon's going to lose this week or some week, and then here comes the Tar Heels with their high-powered offense and Drake May, and they're going to be the number 4 seed.
If that happens, I don't know what I'm going to do. I'll do something.
Well,
We'll make
here,
some
let's
sort
just
of
say
bet.
this. I'm not fading Jacob on this one because he is Mr. ACC, so I'm going to ride my co-host and go with the Tar
I think they
Heels.
might win the ACC, but
Tyler.
They better hope that TCU and Oregon have 2 losses.
Well, they're going to have 2 losses.
Who did North Carolina lose to?
They lost to Notre Dame.
Yeah, that's not a bad loss.
It's not a
And
bad.
that
They're going to be ranked.
game or something?
They're going to be ranked on Tuesday. Notre Dame is going to be ranked like 24, 25.
Tyler.
What's that?
Or Tyler or Jacob.
Yes.
If North Carolina doesn't make it, I want to see y'all do a belly flop into a pond behind Tyler's house.
The Carolina Reaper
Okay, the odds
challenge is
that-
back on for y'all too, because that's a Carolina pick.
There you go. If North Carolina does not make it, y'all have to buy a bag of the Carolina Reaper jersey.
Go ahead and order a bunch.
I think that's backwards. I think if North Carolina
Yeah,
makes
if-
it, that
yeah,
you
if
should
they
have
make
to
it,
have
I'll
the
do it.
Carolina Reaper.
Okay,
Yeah.
fine. If they make it,
Yeah, if
I'll
they make
order a
the
bag.
playoff,
If
I'll
they
do it.
don't, y'all have to order a bag.
We can't tell you to jump in any sort of body of water in Houston because there's more concrete than water.
I have a
in that
pond
city.
in my neighborhood. I can
All
go
the
belly
ponds are
flop into that
concrete
sucker.
lined. You might.
Yeah.
Okay, that deal. If North Carolina makes it, I'll buy a bag of the Carolina Reaper, and Wade will buy a bag of the Carolina Reaper. And if they don't make it, the two of y'all have
I
to.
feel like you
Wade
just
getting
want
thrown
Wade.
into those.
Well,
Wade
Wade's
doesn't
not
want
going
no
to pick
part of
North
this.
Carolina unless. Wade, do you have North Carolina in your thing? No. Okay, so there we go. Sports Scramble, the WAC Part 2 college football playoff for North Carolina. Deal. If they don't
That should have
don't
been the
make it,
punishment for the WAC. I wish we had Righteous Felon. You 2 losers should have got some of those Carolina Reaper and had to eat
Would
the
have
whole
put
bag.
some
up
fire
front.
in my game, man.
yeah, really. If North Carolina does not make the college football playoff, the two of you have to buy the Carolina Reaper. Deal?
Yes,
not doing
Carolina
that.
Reaper for everybody.
No, Tyler and Jacob have to do it, and if they
Sure,
do
why
make
not?
it, Wade and I have to do it. All
Why
right,
not?
Wade, top 4.
All right. So Georgia #1. We've talked about it all show. Pretty self-explanatory. They got the best win now. They look pretty legit. #2, I'm gonna still go Ohio State right now. Could be Michigan, but I think Ohio State gets it done. This week was kind of a fluke, in my opinion. Some weird weather. #3, I'm gonna have to go. I think they go Tennessee here. I think Tennessee makes it either way as the 3 or the 4. I think Georgia will beat LSU for the SEC championship. That is if LSU gets there and doesn't lay an egg against Arkansas. Not even going to give A&M the honor of
Since they're the
potential
frauds.
upset.
Well,
of the
even if they
year.
lose one of the two, they're still in. As long as Alabama beats Ole Miss.
That's true. And then I'm going to have to say at #4, I'm going to sneak TCU in there over Oregon. I think they'll both have 1 loss by the end of the year, but I think the Big 12, by the end of the year, that conference is going to look the best out of the ACC, the Pac-12, and the Big 12. I think the Big 12 will be the most respected conference champion. It might be the only out of those ones. I mean, I guess Clemson and North Carolina will be a ranked matchup. There's a chance Oregon's playing USC for the Pac-12 championship, and I mean, one of those teams could have 2 losses at that point. So I'm going to go TCU at the 4 spot.
Okay. My top 4.
Oh,
Number
God.
1,
Here we
Michigan.
go.
I think Michigan's going to beat Ohio State here, and I think they play in 2 weeks. They end up winning. I don't even know who they'll play in the conference championship. Does the Big Ten even have a team on the other side?
Illinois.
It's like
It would pretty much just be a bye.
Okay.
Just hand them the trophy when they show up.
Hey. Don't discredit the
Brett
Fighting
Bielema was
Illini.
coming.
Okay, I was on the Fighting
Okay.
Illini train until they lost to a Michigan State team that didn't have 8 players because they knocked the dude out in the locker room.
That just motivated
What?
them. Yeah, you didn't hear
missed
about that
whole
Come on.
story, Chad?
We're not talking about
The
that.
Michigan
Okay.
State, well, just listen
You
to
can
our
Google
last
it.
week's episode. and
Okay.
It's not breaking
yeah.
Listen to let's plug college football coast to coast. Go listen to last
Coast
week's
to
episode.
coast,
We
baby.
talked
They got
Okay,
it.
I'll go listen to it. I missed the last week's. So Michigan #1, #2, the Pac-12 champions, the Oregon Ducks. #3, the SEC champions, the LSU Tigers, and #4, the SEC losers, Georgia. Not North Carolina, not Ohio State. I'm an optimist. I'm a full-on not logistical because all of the 3 of you are all thinking with logic. I'm going with heart, and I'm going with LSU, #3, Georgia, #4. So yeah, there you go. I know it's dumb. It's probably going to end up falling apart, but it's a wacky one, and that's what gets used is wacky takes. So,
dude, if UNC
going with it.
and LSU make the playoff, that's like, dang. Like, do we even need to expand it to 12 if we have, like, you can lose 2 games and you can let up 70 points to App State
my
and still
argument
make it?
here is you got the Big
They've
Ten
only lost one
champion.
game though.
No, I'm saying LSU would have lost 2, and
Oh.
UNC in that situation would
I thought you
have
were saying
survived
North Carolina.
barely all
I
season.
mean,
Well,
North Carolina does have a tough road trip this weekend against
Yeah.
Wake Forest.
I'm saying you put a Big Ten champion, an SEC champion. I think whoever wins the Big Ten and SEC are locks 100%. Just strength of schedule wise.
Especially this late in the season.
Yeah. The Pac-12 can be iffy because that's if TCU wins
Big
out.
12 is only
then-
getting in if TCU goes undefeated.
Right.
I mean, just
So
look at
It's either Big 12 or Pac-12.
I don't have to
Exactly.
repeat
It's
it.
only going to be
Just
one.
look at the playoff rankings. I would
Right.
be shocked if they're even 5th or 6th.
That's why I went with Oregon, because it's either going to be Oregon or
Southern Cal.
TCU in terms of Big 12 or Big 12 or Pac-12.
Could be Southern
Actually-
Cal.
If
Currently
if,
1 and 2.
I'm saying Pac-12 winner.
1 and 2.
1 and 2 in the Pac-12 right now is Oregon and Utah.
And they
Really?
play
Right
here in 2 weeks. So
And USC and UCLA played in the season. So everybody, all the Pac
Everybody plays
schools
each
by
other.
the end of the year could all have 2 losses. So
That is
that
true.
conference could beat each other up.
They just eliminate
why-
themselves.
We
They're the
both,
conference
Jacob
of
and I
champions.
both have North Carolina in.
Yeah.
yeah,
Chet's
so-
dogging us about freaking
Yeah, come on.
North
We provide
Carolina, and he's
lots
got
of
North
Michigan
Carolina
at
came
1,
from nowhere.
Oregon at 2. Like,
I mean,
we
it's
got
like
a team
they're
that's
far
ranked
away.
number
Like they're at
15.
15. They could easily climb all the way up to 4.
I'm an optimist. TCU is going to win out, and it's going to be fine, and they're going to not allow UNC in there.
Yeah. Well, as you can see, we're obviously all over the place here.
Yes.
We're at an hour and 42 minutes. Not much happened in the NFL. There are a few headlines I want to get to. The Washington Commanders are being sold. Dan Snyder he listed them for market after no one won the lottery last Sunday night. So now, and no one has yet to win the lottery. It's at like $1.9 billion. I forgot to buy a ticket. Well, okay.
Point is, you can buy the Commanders on Amazon Prime now because Bezos is going to buy it, and you're going to be able to buy a share of the team as a Prime holder.
That's what I was getting to. Jeff Bezos and Jay-Z are potentially partnering up.
Why does he need Jay-Z?
I don't know. Why not? He's Jeff Bezos. He could just pick whoever he wants.
Players
in the league.
Yeah. So a lot of teams reached out to the NFL to shift the trade deadlines to week 10 or 12. Do y'all like shifting it later in the season, or you
I
should
feel like
stay
it's
where
too
it's at?
early.
Yeah, I
Right.
think
So
shift it back a
Yes,
little
it
bit.
needs
I
to be
mean,
like
you
later
added
on, like close to the
time.
playoff run, because that's when you like really need like a couple additions
Yeah.
to your
Well, you
roster.
made the season longer, so you might as well make
Yeah.
the trade.
Yeah, if you
I
add
like
on,
the
I
idea
think you
of-
might as well tack on, another week, like make it like week 10, week 11, something like that.
What about like a universal buy in the NFL? Like
That
they
would
do
be great for
MLB?
fancy football. Give everybody just a week to
No,
step
not
away.
for
and
everybody.
take-
Like you still get one buy, like a normal buy, and then
I feel like the week 14 buy is just way too extreme. That's way too late. Way too late.
yeah,
What if they did a trade deadline week 12, and following week 12, it's a bye week for the entire NFL? That way, whoever gets traded has an opportunity to learn the playbook,
okay.
and then you go forward.
Mm.
I like
Just
the
a
idea
thought.
of 2
Just a
bye
thought.
weeks mixed in there. One's universal, one's like whatever they want to do. And then I like the idea of when you're coming off of your team's bye week, you play a Thursday night game the following week.
I like it.
Keeps people fresh.
Mr. Joe Mixon did not have an issue with the Carolina Panthers defense. 5 touchdowns, 55
many people
fantasy
do.
points. No, they storm-rolled through them. And according to TMZ Sports, Tom Brady was trick-or-treating with his kids on Halloween. And guess what Tom Brady did today? He won a football game. So it's karma.
Man.
I've been telling everybody he's treating his family like crap, bad karma, losing. He ends up beating the Rams 16-13. So Tom Brady
It was
spent
an
time
ugly
with your
game.
kids. Yeah, it was a terrible game.
The Rams
Mike
suck. You
Evans
guys
is
picked the
good.
Rams to win the freaking NFC West.
We did.
Well, yeah.
Can we like redo that on next week's show, please? Like,
Tyler,
Yeah,
no,
if we're not
your
at an
Giants
hour and
talk
45
was
minutes when we get to
yeah, let's do it next week. We'll do that for next week's show. Like we'll redo.
Yeah, we
our
won't have any
division picks.
baseball. We won't have any NASCAR.
Yeah.
Well, Neil will be on.
Well,
there.
yeah, my Chargers Super Bowl pick ain't looking good.
We
so
can have
I'm gonna-
NASCAR Neil's
Yeah,
picks too.
The Titans are up on the Chiefs 17-9 right now.
And Derrick Henry is alive. He has scored 2 touchdowns. He did not play in the first quarter for whatever reason.
Okay.
Well,
I know who's not alive. Drew Tranquil from the freaking Chargers after getting trucked by Cordell Patterson.
Yeah, Cordell Patterson murdered somebody. There's a warrant out for his arrest in Atlanta. He absolutely ran over this dude. But yeah, shout out Cordell for coming back today and helping me get a dub in one of our fantasy leagues. Last little NFL TMZ sports headline I got for y'all. Everybody knows Odell Beckham. He's a free agent right now. Actually, the Dallas Cowboys are apparently interested in signing him. Well, he turned 30 this weekend. And guess who was at his – I can't even get through this headline. Guess who was at his birthday party performing a sexy dance? Wade, who do you think it is?
Lizzo.
Fudge. Tyler knows who it is because I told him the headline.
Well, I forgot, honestly.
Fudge, who do you
Not
think it is?
Lizzo.
I have no idea.
Well, you had several A-list performances with Kim Kardashian, Tristan Thompson, Kendall Jenner, Devin Booker, Justin Bieber, and his wife. So out of those 6 names, who do you think it was?
Not Bieber.
You're wrong, Wade. Justin Bieber and his wife perform a sexy dance. I'm watching the video. They're just like grinding on each other. It's nothing crazy.
It's just your average sports podcast.
I thought we were going to say Tristan Thompson for a second.
Yeah. Well, first it got the Lizzo, and then it just found its way down the aisle.
Devin Booker's breaking it down. I bet you Drake was there. Everybody's listening to Drake's new album with his interesting verses. It might have been him. So that kind of wraps up the sports talk this week. Tyler, you said just your average sports podcast. You can listen to 2 other pretty good sports podcasts with college football coast to coast Monday at 3:00 and SEC Talk Tuesday nights at 8. We're Sports Scramble every Sunday night, 8:00, maybe a little earlier. We'll see. We'll see how we feel. Typically 8:00. It's a long one. We appreciate everybody staying tuned for the very ending to learn that Justin Bieber and his wife perform sexy dances at Odell Beckham's 30th birthday party. I'm going to start pulling up TMZ headlines for every
Yeah, I feel like that's another segment, like our TMZ segment
sports
of the week. We have our frog of the week. We have our dog of the week, and then we have our I don't know what you want to call the TMC, whatever.
Our schmooze.
The wacky sports headline of the week.
Tristan Thompson and Devin Booker go over there going, this is what I call the crossover.
They're in the middle of a season.
It's like whenever the crossover, whenever you were like Sweet Life of like Zach and Cody and Hannah Montana, it's like that, but with basketball players and baseball.
Yeah, football players. Yeah. But yeah, now that we'll try to keep our shows a little shorter since it'll mostly just be football, maybe some basketball. But we appreciate everybody watching, and we hope you all have a great and blessed week going forward. See you next week.